Howdy!
Howdy!
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. This evening, you're about to experience something very special on Agiland. We have in our midst today a professor of Yoruba language and culture all the way from Florida, University of Florida in Gainesville. His name is Professor Kole Odutola. Kole Odutola is a renowned professor that goes around telling stories to children and adults in Florida. And he's been doing this for over 20 years. He travels all over the world as well. As a matter of fact, we were able to get him to this university from South Africa, where he was just last week. And the week before that, he was at Barbados. So it's not someone that is easy to get, but I'm really happy that he was able to make it. In the past few days, students of PVFA have been enjoying, interactions and workshops with him, learning how the African storytelling tradition is crafted. And I can tell you guys that it's been a wonderful experience. So tonight we decided to have this open performance for us to also be able, as community, to enjoy this story tradition from Africa. So this night, I'm just going to ask you all to please enjoy the show, sit tight, and be ready to participate, because I can tell you from the classes that he has been to, and some of the students are here, they are nodding, it's really a very, inclusive experience. So enjoy. Thank you.
Drum beats like the hearts of my ancestors. Beats, drum. Let the drum beat so that all the ancestors would be awake. Drum. Wanumio, wanumio, wanumie mi anu wanumio, 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 wanumie mi anu wanumio. Gbé mi wọ̀ o, gbé mi wẹ̀ mi ọ̀run, gbé mi wọ̀ o. Howdy. Howdy. I want to hear it. Howdy. Howdy. Good. Wonderful. Because we want a community. And I want to raise your energy just a little, or else the story would not flow from one side to another side. It would not flow from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to teach you a song that would allow you all come with me in spirit. So I don't know how you're going to do it, but the one to the left and the one to the right, you hold your hands this way. Right. So you are going to do it. You're going to hold hands and you're going to sing this song. So everybody get up. I am going to teach you this song. So we would have to swing. The song goes this way. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Come on, everybody. Hey, yeah. Come on. Hey, yeah. Stamp your feet. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Come on with me. Hey, yeah. Stamp your feet. Hey, yeah. I can't hear you. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Only the women. Hey, yeah. Let me hear it. Hey, yeah. Uh-huh. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Only the man. Hey, yeah. Give me the bass. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Everybody together. Hey, yeah. Come on. Hey, yeah. Aha. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Are you feeling it? Hey, yeah. Stamp your feet. Hey, yeah. Come on. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Ha. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Everybody. Hey, yeah. One more time. Hey, yeah. Sing it loud. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. I want to dance. Hey, yeah. How can't you? Hey, yeah. Give me. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Bring down the roof. Hey, yeah. Come on, say it. Hey, yeah. Come on, give it up. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Are you feeling good? Hey, yeah. Come on. Hey, yeah. Aha. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Hey, yeah. Aha. Hey, yeah. Oh. Hey, yeah. Oh, yes. Hey, yeah. 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 Yes. Hey, yeah. Move around. Move. So let the spirit of the story come. And the story has to be invited. Are you all feeling it? Do you feel the energy? Are you ready? Okay. So the story starts. When I say, hello, you would say, hello. Are you ready? Hello. Oh. It's coming. It's not there yet. Hello. Oh, come on, give it to me. You can do better than that. Hello. Oruku tindi tindi. Oruku tindi tindi. Oruku tindi 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 gbagbo. And so, my story is journeying from the east, from the west, from the south, and the north. It's all going to be centered in the front of a palace of a king who has been sick for a while. They have sent for the wise men, they have sent for the children, they have sent for the maidens, and no one had an idea. So one day, I say one day, are you going to ask me what happened that day? Yes, one day. Aha! I can hear you now. Because there are many days, but it was this particular day. The king sent for his messenger and asked the messenger to go into the village from where the stream flows right to the mountain and go right down to the farmlands and to where the women spread their wares, and tell them that I, the king, of Ìlú Ọlọ́gbọ́n. I, the king Ọlọ́gbọ́n of Ìlú Ọlọ́gbọ́n, would like to see all my people. I would like to see them with my eyes, and I would like to hear them. And the messenger, as usual, carried the message in his heart, the gong in his hands, and started moving from one household was moving from the stream to the market, from the market to even the toilet where people do, I need not say it, it is not my mouth that you would hear that. But there was no spot in the village that was left untouched. The messenger went with the sweetest of all the messages. Kere o! Kere o! Ọba ní ń sọ fún gbogbo yín o! Wípé tó bá di ìwòyí ọ̀la, òun fẹ́ rí gbogbo yín o! Kere o! Kere o! Kọ́mọdé gbọ́ kó sọ fún tàgbà, kágbà gbọ́ kó sọ fún àlejò, kálejò gbọ́. Ó ní kí gbogbo yín wá o, àtẹranko àti èèyàn. Kere o! And everywhere he went, the message was the same. And he would say to them at the end of it, and you would have to repeat what the villagers said. He would ask, Mo wire, abi mo wire, and you would say, O wire. Can I hear you? O wire. Ṣé mo wire abi mi o wire? O wire. Ṣé mo wire abi mo wire? O wire. Ṣé mo wire abi mi o wire? Ṣé mo wire abi mi o wire? Ṣé mo wire abi mi o wire? And that was the end of the message. And he went back to the palace. Ọlọ́gbọ́n, ti ìlú Ọlọ́gbọ́n, and spoke to the ears of the king that there is no place in this village that I have not touched. I have gone to the riverside. I have gone to the stream. I have gone to the farmland. I have even gone to, the king understood that the job had been well done. And so, in his frail body, he went back into his chambers, awaiting the day when the villagers would all gather, even with the animals. In the days of yore, when I speak, and the story my father told was told by his father's father, and his father's father's father told his father's father. That was a time in which men, women, children, strangers, and animals lived together as one. The humans never felt they were higher than the animals. Because, like we say, ọmọdé gbọ́n, àgbà gbọ́n, la ṣe dá lé fẹ́. Ọmọdé gbọ́n, àgbà gbọ́n, la fi dá lé fẹ́. The child is wise. So also is the elder. That is why we created this place called Ife. The animals had their role to play in those gone by days. Not like today, when I see some animals with robes on their neck being led by their owners. No, it was a time in which everybody. So, the next day, All the villages were coming. They were coming one by one with the animals. And the king, when the messenger saw that all the villagers, or almost all of them, there are some lazy people, stubborn people. You know them yourself, don't you? Don't look at me as if I am just making this up. You know there are people who are told to attend the meeting. The meeting for 6:30 and they show up at 6:45. You know them. Don't you know them, sir? Have you not met them? I know them. In fact, I know them by name. And if you want me to start calling names, I shall call names. But because my story would not allow me, I would leave it to you. But they all arrived with the animals, the dogs, the cats, the tortoises, and all of them. And so, once they were gathered, one of the king's wives, the youngest of all, Urekelewa, we called her. Oh, when I talk about Urekelewa, some men here would ask me for details, but I shall not give you the contact address of Urekelewa unless you can go into my story. Yeah, but Urekelewa was beautiful. When you want to say a woman is beautiful, Urekelewa was a beautiful woman. Dutiful as well. And she knows her cue. So she went into the chambers and roused the king, held the hand of the king like we all held our hands, and brought the king. And as soon as the king sat on his throne, all the villagers, including the strangers that have come to listen to my story, all said, Kabiesi o. Can I hear you? Kabiesi o. Kabiesi o. Ọ̀jẹ̀ mọ́ínmọ́ín tewétewé ọ̀jẹ̀ dùndún fọ̀bẹ̀làdí ó torí àmàlà báwọn dé Ṣàngó. Kábíyèsí o. Kádé pẹ́ lórí kí bàtà pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. Kírù kẹ̀rẹ́ pẹ́. Kábíyèsí o. And the head of the Kábíyèsí was swelling because all those words are prayers. May you live long. Àṣẹ. May you live long, Kábíyèsí. Àṣẹ. May you live longer than your forebears. Àṣẹ. May you walk and not stumble. Àṣẹ. And so, all the rites and the rituals of welcoming a king were completed. And the king called his first wife. Remember, Urekelewa is the beautiful one, the youngest of all the wives of the king who had come to call. And her duty was done, and she sat by the feet of the king. It was now the duty of the first wife. Mama Agba. Mama Agba. Mama Agba. Those who knew her knew that Mama Agba was not only one that had powers, she also had the spiritual powers. And so she conferred with the king. And the king spoke through Mama Agba, the first wife. It was something like this. So, just watch. The king seated there, and Mama Agba came, and all right. If you want to know what I told them, after the show, arrest any one of them. And they will tell you exactly the long story. But what I said might be different from what the king told Mama Agba. But let me tell you what Mama Agba told us. Mama Agba said, my people of Ilu Ologbon, my husband has sent me to you all. He is very sick. He is not well. And the diviners who have looked into Ifa Agbomiregun, Omomoti Monu Igbin, Ifa, and that the diviners have come up and said, the king, our king, may die. Our king may die. And everybody give out that loud shout, just like I heard. Ah. And they put heads together. What can we do? What can be done? Ifa does not only look into the past, it also looks into the future and gives remedy. And everybody looked at everybody. And because Mama Agba understands the spirit of humans, Mama Agba said in very solemn voice, it was too heavy to be said. There are times words are heavy. And it is difficult for the tongue to let out what the ears have heard. I'm not sure whether I should tell you, but the story in my stomach says, go on, Kole. Mama Agba said, What did she say? Did somebody ask me what she said? I will tell you, I cannot. I have agreed to be the medium that will let you all know. Mama Agba looked up, looked down, said, is there anyone here who can bring an elephant alive into this palace? Eriwo! Bring in what? An elephant. Not a dead one, but a one that is alive. The children said, it is not possible. The women said, we have hunters here. Hunters that have powers and can summon. And the hunter said, please. When we are talking of animals, nobody talks about elephant. You can talk about a dead one, but not one that is alive. It went on for minutes, and I don't know how many of you know how time just flies, and you don't even know how long it has taken. Nobody was coming up with any answer. Humans had reached their theater's end. From the back of the hall came the voice of Ijakpa, the tortoise. Oh, king! My king! My lord! The king of our village. I, Ijakpa, I have a solution. And the hall went as quiet just as this. Ijakpa, you want to go and bring Eri? How are you going to do it? So he said to the king, please dismiss all these people. Ask them to leave. And one after the other, the young children went this way, the young girls went that way, the men followed, all talking and asking questions. What can be done? But this Ijakpa, we know Ijakpa very well. Okoyoribo, he's up to his no good again. And so, it was only the king's last wife, Mamagba, and the king. And they met. They talked. And the king, through the wife, Mamagba, said, tell Ijakpa, if you do this for me, whatever you ask for, I will give you. If you want half of my kingdom, I will divide it and give to you. And Ijakpa said, oh no, it won't get to that at all. I don't need half your kingdom. I need Mamagba to go and prepare akara. Akara. Fry the akara with honey and prepare it and give to me. First thing in the morning, I shall be here and set on my journey to the household of the elephants. The elephants lived in another part. And so, Ijakpa started. He started going and singing that there is nothing he cannot do if he puts his mind to it. That sometimes humans think little of themselves, but he is Ijakpa. There is nothing impossible for him to do. And so he kept on walking. And because he did not really know where he was going, he asked people around, please, where is the community of elephants? And they said, what do you want? He said, don't worry. What do you need? I will tell you later. And he kept on going and going and going. And finally, a brave little elephant led Ijakpa, the tortoise, to the palace of the king of the elephants. Because elephants too have their own king. They have their own community. And so it was that he was led in the presence. The king of elephants is called Alagogo. Alagogo. And when he reached there, Ijakpa told the king of elephants, Alagogo, Alagogo. Yes. Alagogo. Yes. Alagogo. What is it? You have called me 3 times. What is so heavy that your lips cannot utter? What is it that you have come all the way from the land of the humans? Talk to me. And Ijakpa started to speak. Does anybody know what Ijakpa started to say? Is there anybody here? Is there anybody here who has been at elephants before? Is there anybody who has elephants as a pet at home? Or is there anybody who knows how to speak the language of elephants? I am not sure you do, but let me tell you what Ijakpa said. The king of the humans just died. And they have asked me, the humans, to come and invite you as their new king. Ha! Ha! Okay. I have never heard this before. None of my elephant forebears have ever been king amongst humans. In fact, we have never been friends. Because every time we go to their farm and uproot their plants, they want to kill us. So how come? What happened? All right. If it is true, show me one evidence. And Ijapa put his hand in the bag and brought out akara. Akara that was fried with honey and gave to Alagogo, the elephant king. Alagogo tasted the akara. And as he put it in his mouth, his senses went the other way. He said, I need no other evidence. Do you have more? Etuno. I have it in abundance. All you have to do is, follow me and let us go. And the elephant did not even go into his chambers to consult with his gods. What did he do? He followed. And Ijapa started to sing. How Mary Joba Ajantolo. So when I say how Mary Joba, you would say Ajantolo. How Mary Joba. How Mary Joba. Now, if you sing it that way, the story would go back stage. Stories, the way I know it, is a case of Bumi, Buo. Can I hear it? When I say Bumi, you say what? Buo. Bumi. Buo. Buo. Bumi. Bumi. Buo. Buo. Bumi. Bumi. Buo. It is the language of the frog. You give me, I give you. Is what the frog sings. And in stories, we also need you. Don't sing it like you're about to fall asleep. You are all alive. So I want to hear it. Ajantolo. Say it again. Ajantolo. How Mary Joba. 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 Ajantolo. Yes. Thank you very much. Now I can continue. Because that was the song Ijapa kept on singing. And anytime the elephant did not want to go on, what did Ijapa do? He put his hand in the bag. Gave another word, akara. And the elephant ate. And he was eating. And he was eating. And he was eating. Until he got in. But along the way, all those elephants that guide the border posts, they were telling the elephant in the language of the elephant. But because of the new time, we've been able to put what they were saying, and out came this. At the borders, because the Japa does not understand the language of elephants, they were signaling to the elephant, Alagogo deyin, deyin, alagogo deyin, deyin, alagogo deyin, deyin bo ba deyin, deyin, alagogo deyin, deyin, alagogo deyin, deyin bo ba deyin, orí rẹ nínú kòkò, alagogo deyin, alagogo deyin, bo ba deyin, orí rẹ nínú kòkò. Alagogo deyin, deyin, deyin. In the language of the humans, all those at the border posts were saying, Alagogo, the king of elephants, retreat, go back. And as soon as they sing it, because the Japa did not know the language of the elephant, he would dip his hand in the bag and bring out what? Akara. Fried with what? Honey. And he would give it to the elephant. And once the elephant hears that, he will move on. They kept on going, and once they passed the 7th border post, you know that in most communities there are people who watch over the borders. And once they passed the 7th one, Ijakpa knew that he already had the elephant in his pocket. And Ijakpa said, Alagogo, may you live long. The king of humans, I am tired. Can I climb on your back? And the elephant said, you are a small gnat. Okay. And Ijakpa climbed on the back of the elephant and was riding the elephant into the city, into the village. And he got into the village, but there was something Iyagba and the king and the Ijakpa had said to each other that nobody was allowed to know about it. It was a secret. And what was that secret? They had dug a place in the palace. See this mat? They spread it on it and put drums to wedge it. And as soon as the elephant arrived in the palace of a king, Ijakpa said, that is your throne. And the elephant, you know that elephants are not small things. And the elephant went really believing that he had come to be the king of humans. And he went, as soon as he put one leg, boom, what happened? Yeah. He fell inside, boom! You see, elephants don't just fall. Somebody said he fell. No, elephants will fall, boom! Oh, boga! Put one leg, boom! Put another leg, boga! And before you knew it, the elephant was there. The hunters who had left before now came back with renewed confidence. Why? The elephant was already in the hole that was dug. And so they brought all their arrows, Dane guns, and what do you think they did? Is there anybody here? I can't see you. Is there anybody here who knows what happened? They started to fire the poor animal. And that was how Ijakpa brought in the elephant alive. The elephant was alive when he came. And because what the diviners had asked for was exactly what Ijapa did. They killed the elephant and took precious parts of the elephant to prepare a medicine for the king. And before 7 days, the king was well and sent for all the villagers, and he said he was going to give half of his kingdom. That all of you humans go this side. All of you animals that walk on 4 legs or crawl or birds, go this side. Until today. Except you remember that there were some stubborn people that did not attend the meeting. There are also some stubborn animals who from that day on, instead of live in the forest and live with their fellow animals, found their way into the households of human beings. And that is why today you see some people tie leashes and we're pulling their dogs because they're supposed to be living somewhere else, but they brought him because they say the human being's best friend is a dog. And so the dog lives with us from that day onwards. But that was not the end of the story. Ijapa had done his bit. He doesn't want half of the kingdom. That is the question. That now is the question we all are gathered tonight. What does Ijapa want? So I want to see the faces of my people. Let me see your faces. And so, you now will tell each other, whisper into the ears of each other, what you think Ijapa wants. Because that is the beginning of another story. Stories have no end. Because when a story sleeps with another story, they give birth to another story. And I'm just waiting. So let the right whisper to the left. If you don't have anybody, talk to the cameraman. If you don't have anybody, go and look for somebody to talk to. Tell them, what does Ijapa want? So I want to hear, because the theory of my story is Bumi, Bua, Bumi. So the story has now shifted. The storyteller has become the story listener. I want you now to whisper into the ears of somebody, what does Ijapa want? What does Ijapa want? What does Ijapa want? I want to hear, what does Ijapa want? What does Ijapa want? What does Ijapa want? Yes, yes. If you don't have a partner, go and grab one.
Okay, so what does Ijapa want?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the consensus here? Okay, the pretty woman. Yes.
Ijapa wants the youngest wife of a king, Orekelewa. Okay. What does Ijapa want? Yes?
What do you think?
Ijapa wants to sing. Does he need a singer? If Ijapa needs a singer on behalf of all of you and the authority not vested in me, I will give this woman to Ijapa to start singing to Ijapa. And if Ijapa is happy, so be it. Yes, what does Ijapa want? Yes.
He wants to bring the elephant back to life.
Okay, he wants to bring the elephant back to life.
The day dead animals start to walk our land. I hope I'm not around here then. But we probably might give you the contract to go and walk with the Ijapa to see how the elephant, there is a lot of science in this place. All right.
This group, we had a couple of thoughts.
Yes.
Some of it.
We said the wife too, the young wife.
Oh, Ijapa should have a young wife. All right.
And then the other one was that he doesn't want anything. He's a trickster, and that's mischief is his name.
Ijapa wants nothing.
Let's hear from the people at the top. Yes.
Yes, Ijapa wants nothing.
Anybody else?
What were you doing yesterday? Nothing. What are you doing today? I want to finish what I'm doing yesterday. Nothing. Okay. Yes. What does Ijapa want?
Anybody else? Any group? Yes.
I think he wants the throne.
He wants the throne. Ijapa wants to be king. Ijapa wants to be the king. I don't know. I don't know. Why? How would Ijapa be a king of what village? Yes.
I would say that to teach the stubborn humans who weren't at the meeting that
Yes.
Animals shouldn't be on leashes and anything.
Okay. I see. Very, very interesting thoughts. But everybody, look at me. Look at me. Now ask me, what does Ijapa want?
What does Ijapa want?
I don't know. I don't know. So you think that because I told you a story, I'm a Mr. Know-all. I don't know. You just go home, go to your friends, tell them the story, and ask them, what do you think Ijapa wants? But one thing, after my father's death, and I kept on thinking about this story, I said, you know what? This is what humans, all of us here, are like the kings. And for every medicine that prolongs our lives, they have tested it on animals. If you know anybody in pharmacy, they will tell you that for them to be sure that a medicine can work, they first try it on animals. And that's what that story is telling us. We kill animals in order to prolong our own lives. We have not found a way to do what our forebears did. Go into nature and see how nature heals itself and heals its own people. When you take herbs, you don't only take that which can heal you. You take that which the plant itself protects itself. You don't take the leaves alone. You take a bit of a leaf, take a bit of a bark, you take a bit of a root, and you cook it all together. You don't just pluck leaves anytime you want, because there are times plants are having their dinner. There are times they are having breakfast. There are times they are just sleeping. So you have to know the spirit in the plant before you can pluck it and it will work for you. And that is why storytellers are also herbalists. Herbalists and storytellers are farmers. You might not know it, but when I started life, my first career was as a botanist, to understand the language of the plants, to know which plants will work for which illness. And that does not need a test on animals. So, my brothers and sisters, you've heard the story of Ijapa and the king who was sick. The king lived for many years after. But when you go into the kingdom of elephants, they're not together anymore because they know that you humans poach them. You come to remove their ivory. So they hide from you, and they've been hiding ever since. And there are times when tourists go there, the elephants will come and upturn their vehicles. It's a story. It is true that it's a story. But I told you that when stories sleep next to stories, what happens? They give birth to another story. The story my father told me and the story of reality of today all have given birth to another story. And before I end, I know that song that the elephant community were singing far away. Ó ṣe é gbé náà, ó ṣe é gbé, ó ṣe é gbé náà, kò ṣe é gbé, ìbá ṣe é gbé máa gbé tèmi o. Àsìkò tí ìbá ṣe é gbé, erin kú lóko àkọkẹ̀ wálé, láàrin kakú nílé àkọkẹ̀ roko, ojú ẹlẹ́fọ̀n mi tanná, ìrù ẹlẹ́fọ̀n mi jó wèrè, òtítọ́ ẹlẹ́fọ̀n méjì lábẹ́. Bá ò rẹ́ni fẹ́ afáànà ẹni, bí o sì wú ní àmá ṣàlọ́lọ́ o, yá ó ṣe é gbé náà. And so they sang far into the night, just in memory of their kings. Up till today, they're still mourning the death of one of them. For how long? For how long? And I always remember, work is our legacy. Work is our legacy, our hope for survival and strength. For how long shall we walk before we see the gate? For how long? For how long before we see the end of a rainbow? For how long? For how long? For how long before we see the end of a rainbow? For how long shall we see the end of cruelty of man to animals? For how long? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Professor Kole, for this wonderful evening, taking us on the journey to the indigenous African storytelling tradition and making sure that, story slept with story and gave birth to another story. So you have given us food for thought to go and create stories that will give birth to other stories. And hopefully that will get humanity thinking about how we treat, the animals in our surroundings. Thank you so much. Now, at this point, ladies and gentlemen, This is an academic environment, and so Professor Kole is open to any questions that you may have, but not to ask him what, Ijapa did. Okay, let's ask him about his career, his work, anything in that direction. So I'm going to open it up for question and answer. Yes, please. The light is too much on you? Okay, so maybe we kill this one. It's too much on everybody. The house light. Yeah. Yes.
Why the switch from botany?
What is what?
What did you say?
Why did you switch from botany to
this?
yeah?
Why did you switch from botany to becoming a storyteller, going around aimlessly, just telling stories?
Okay. Àkúnlẹ̀yàn òun làdáyébá. Adélé ayé tán ojú ń kán gbogbo wa. Àkúnlẹ̀yàn òun làdáyébá. Adélé ayé tán ojú ń kán gbogbo wa. The answer to that is in that Yoruba proverb. And it says that which you have come into the world to do, you already have predestined and predetermined it. But when we get to the earth, we're in such a hurry that we go here, we go there. But finally, because we all are linked to the center of the earth by a novel, because you can imagine, every one of us here was joined to a mother. Can you imagine the mother joined to the mother? That's the story of life. We all came here, but we came, if you see babies, you see their hands like this. They came with what they're going to do. But over time, between opening their eyes to see the new space they're in, and when they learn to open their arms, their palms, a lot of things must have been forgotten. Though we live our lives forward, but all of us as human beings, what we do is retracing our steps back to where we came. Yes, I thought I was going to be a botanist, but the vision and what life had for me was to exchange energies with human beings, was also to let them know. So I was allowed to learn about the trees, the fruits, the xylem, the phloem. So I know that there are times when you need to understand the plants. You don't just go plucking them. And I know also that in modern medicine and modern pharmacopoeia, they take the efficacious part of a plant and distill it and synthesize it and give you as a drug. And that's why you have side effects. But what I learned, so I know that. And all of that come into the stories I tell because of where I started from. I use the knowledge to also tell new stories. You remember? When a story sleeps with a story, what happens? A new story is born, and the story begins to grow. I don't know whether I've answered your question, but these are not easy questions. If I knew the answer, I would just have told you. But when I was born, I had no plan. I didn't even know this world. Would you believe that? When I came, I didn't know anywhere. The only place I knew was the way to my mouth. That was the only one. And I could cry. I was very good at it. My mother said I cried a lot. And I got spanked a lot too. That I know. But the rest I didn't know. I didn't even know I was going to be meeting you this night. But I'm so glad I have met you. Because you've allowed me to also go back and think, why? Why did I?
Okay, thank you. Yes. Bless you.
Many scholars say performance is an archive But for you, how do you preserve your stories and retell them in the same way?
God bless you very much for that question. All stories are archives. What are archives? There is a difference between the Western archive and the ritual archive. I dip my tongue in the ritual archive, where everything you find in that ritual space is an embodiment, is an encoding of memory, the materials that are found there. And so the archive I look at is not the archive, the Western archive where you save things. I tend to look through the ritual archive and look at the organic nature of it so that in telling the story, you get a frame from it. And then your audience would also determine where the story goes. It's like a horse. I ride the story. I know where I want to go, but the story also has its own destination. And both of us will negotiate between where I want to go and where the story wants to go. But you're right. There are already stories, and God bless Mama Teacher, wherever you are today. When we were little, we called her Mama Teacher. Old woman, she sold chuk-chuk and Econo Go On and all of those, Tamfini and all of, yes, she sold all of those during the day.
Those are candies, made for candies.
Yes. And at night, before we go to bed, we all will go and ask Mama Teacher, tell us a story. And she told us stories. And because we're little children, there were stories that had violence in it, like the one I just told you. They killed a whole elephant. They shot it. They shot arrows. What I didn't tell you is the number of people who shot at that elephant. What you didn't ask me is when the elephant was going to die, were there injuries and stuff? I leave it to your imagination to see. Did the elephant die peacefully? Or did the elephant let out that cry of death? So these are the things we pick and develop, and over time, we tell the story. And what you're also talking about, if you know Walter Ong, O-N-G, the man who wrote Orality and Textuality, the movement from orality to textuality is that most of what you read post-independence by African writers were stories that they heard. And they tried to infuse proverbs. When you read an African story, you read an African novel, and you don't meet wise sayings and proverbs, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. The soup is well prepared, but there's not enough ingredients in it. Because those, proverbs are like palm oil in which the yam is eaten. Yes, that is it. In Latin, we say owe leshioro, boroba sonu, owe la finwa. Okay, that's Yoruba. Well, it could be Latin because who understands it? But what it says is that proverbs are like horses. When discourse breaks down, we just reach into one. So those are the kind of linguistic archives we pull down to be able to retell the story and to also know that with the stories, the storyteller has to hold your attention. And at different times will break out of that trance, of that conversation you're having with yourself. So what next? What's next? And I delay it. I delay what is next so that I can have your attention for as long as I want. And then I release you again. But when we come, I always want my audience to suspend disbelief, because those are the elements of storytelling. Once you suspend disbelief, you will come with me. And then we all will go, and that's it. Yes?
We'll take just one more. Yes.
Well, thank you so much, sir. I have just like two questions, but you can fuse it into one. The first one is how can you were talking about textuality and orality. Then how can we like make sure that storytelling can go mainstream in the sense that we can continue this tradition of storytelling, African storytelling, from one generation to another, right? And that's the first question. The second one is going through your portfolio and your profile, we see that your work so far has always been human-centered, people-centered, so far for like decades. So I would like to know, when did you start storytelling? Was this something that was just from mama teacher, or is this something you just stumbled on that this is what I want to end my career with? So,
Okay. All right. The last one first. I teach Yoruba language. There's no way you can teach Yoruba language without these stories. The stories are all in Yoruba in there, which we teach. Even the one about the elephant, it's in the book written by Schleicher, Yoruba Part 2, Ejeka Ka Yoruba, is there in Yoruba. So what I do is I take them and I try to rework them, because the audience is very important. So that's what set it off, right? That some of the stories I picked from teaching Yoruba. But long before then, as a young man, I used to be on Nigerian Television Authority, NTA Channel 10. These things in life, it's not, we want to go here, and life says, go there. What did you think you came here all by yourself to come and start doing what you're doing? Oh, my friend, go to the TV station. And I had one of the presenters who lived behind my house, and she would always take me to go and tell stories to children. So I used to tell stories to children, and I had to look for ways in which to hold the attention of children. They are the most truthful audience. They don't like it, they tell you immediately. You will see it, And so I learned very early in my life, getting into broadcasting, that I was made to tell stories, and I did tell stories to the children. So that was how I started. And when I started to travel, go to Trinidad and Tobago, the Caribbeans tell their own story in a different way. I brought my own, and we were learning from each other. And, look, when I go to Trinidad, this is child's play. I will tell stories to sometimes 18 different sets of children. No water, nothing. I would just, as I'm just take, another set would come. And that was it. And I kept on. And you try very hard to make sure that the last story is not the same with the next one you're telling. And because I have all the arsenals, I can tell you one story in 5 different ways. But it's going to be the same. The stories, you said they're human-centered. Yes, they could be human-centered, but they're mostly animal-centered. The reason being that I don't want to offend anybody. Because if I give a name to any of my characters, yes, he's pointing us and saying that we people from Ondo, we like eating dogs. No. So I won't pick a name from Ondo. I will simply just use the animal. Ijakpa is an animal. And I know that in my imagination says by 2035, 2055, the animals would have had their own Supreme Court and they can take us to court. But for now, I'm safe. No animal can accuse me or take me to court, no matter what, for now. So we can use the animals. And in Ghana is Anansi, poor Anansi, the spider. But why, if you look, the choice of the animals too, they are always little animals, little things. Look at the tortoise, Ijakpa, and what it does to the big elephant. And they're just telling you that be mindful. All you who think that you're big, a little thing can bring you down. They call the tortoise a trickster. There's a reason why. It's a small animal. It's not even, most of them are not this big. And we put them against, either humans or put them against bigger animals or faster ones. There's a reason why we make those choices. But we avoid humans and their names. Mama Agba could be from anywhere. Orikelewa could be from anywhere. I have not located it. And to those of you who study film, you know that once language came into film from the silent movies, it now started to divide by nationality. We now knew where the films come from. Sure, you get what I mean? I'm a storyteller. I'm not very good at, objective questions, A, B, C, or D. I will just go all over the place and take what you want from it. And please, is there any window around there? Throw the rest through the window.
All right, thank you very much. Well, it's been a great evening, and I just want to thank you all for being part of this experience with us in performance studies in the College of Performance, Visualization, and Fine Arts. Thank you so much, and thank you, Professor Kole, for being with us in these few days here in Texas A&M. We thank you very much for the work you're doing, for keeping the culture going, and for also, breeding new generation of storytellers by telling the young ones stories as you travel around the world. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. You're welcome. All right. Well, at this point, I want to say good night, everyone. Thank you.